What's going on, nerds? Brandon here.
With Jimmy.
And once again, and this might be the last one for, well, what am I saying? There's news every week, but we are rounding out the Ahsoka Season 1 now that it is finished. Man, what an ending to that show, right? Like, that was...
Literally to be continued.
I mean,
come on, man.
I think everybody felt that coming.
Yeah.
I think as a whole, the fans were expecting some sort of resolution to one of those storylines, but that episode ends with like, now you've got this, now you've got this, now you've got this, now you've got this. Like, yeah.
But what I appreciate was Filoni wasn't like, well, we got to wrap it all up in this 45 minutes. Like,
hurry.
Thank God, because that's how things go bad.
Man, I mean, I guess the thing I want to like, the first thing I'll talk about is Balin. That ends on a very much cliffhanger. And like, what a great that performance, like, Rey's. I said this before. I really think like the hardest part, like, well, I mean, besides him just passing away and not being here anymore, one of the hardest things about the Star Wars, like him being on Star Wars, is he was so stoked.
Yes.
And for a franchise that has, especially the last 10 years of it, has been very divisive on people and their roles and stuff like that. He seemed, whether you love the show or hate the show, everybody loves Balin.
Yeah, and he was stoked to be on it. He owned it. He loved it. He wanted to be there.
See it,
and he was perfect. Like the look, the way he played it, everything was great about him. And he's not with us anymore.
Man, I mean, like, I think they should do with this role what they were kind of doing. Well, what I think they should have done with Black Panther, and make this a legacy role. Like, make it an important role. Really do the work to get somebody who is going to honor not only Ray Stevenson, but that character. And I mean, I just...
The good thing is, the way he was physically playing the character, you need a white beard, and or a grayish beard, and you can sort of have actors be that. So you can get a good actor. It doesn't need to be, we know who Mark Hamill is. Oh my God, Mark Hamill as a younger version. We need somebody that looks like that, deep fake, whatever. As much as I want Ray Stevenson, that's not going to happen. I did see somebody post like Liev Schreiber. And
I think that would be great.
I think that's a similar look. But yeah.
But he's also that's what we're talking about with that. Like, he's an outstanding actor.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's one you could totally put in that to honor that.
Exactly.
And I mean, my thing is, especially where he's left off, if you're telling me we're not going to get it, we have to.
Yeah, if they go, and I don't think Filoni would do this because he brought so many things from Rebels and all that stuff.
And Clone Wars.
Yes, exactly. Clone Wars. That I don't think he would just be like, we'll let this one go, or we'll just do it in a comic book or something. I feel they're either going to do technology, which we've gotten to that point where, okay, CG, whatever. If it works, it works. But then you still don't have the acting of a great actor doing it. So I'm hoping they do. I hope they do recast it. I hope we don't get a Black Panther 2 where we just don't have the Black Panther.
But I also hope we don't end up with a Rise of Skywalker where it is very clear that Carrie Fisher is not there.
Yes.
Or saying things relevant to the
It hurt the story.
Oh, it
hurt the story.
So much.
We are able to suspend reality and understand that Ray Stevenson passed away.
Yes.
Okay, the character Balin will go on.
Well, speaking of, now that we're talking about the character Balin, his ending is very, clear of what we are setting up.
Yeah.
And it's the Mortis gods.
Exactly. We're exploring more of the mythology of the Jedi. Well, the Force, I should say, not just the Jedi, but the Force, where it comes with, and going back to his explaining the cycle of good, bad, Empire, Republic, and he wants to bring it to an end. I can't wait.
But this goes back to what I was saying with Ahsoka and Balin not really understanding what each other's goal is. And it's like, you guys are so much more on the same page than you realize, especially being that Ahsoka is, the possible, reincarnation of the Mortis god. And I mean, there's a lot there now that ties them closer than you even thought they would be as you were learning their stories.
And we haven't gotten to where's Ezra.
So now we know that Ezra and Thrawn are still together.
Yeah. And we
but
did a
back in the
flip-flop.
in the regular universe.
Yes.
Now the ending with Ahsoka and Sabine kind of going about their new training together, and Anakin looking on. Did Anakin's Force Ghost looking at them? Did that feel finite? Like this is the end, or was that him kind of giving this look of like your biggest challenges are coming, so you better be ready?
And I think that's a great question because given the planet we're on,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems to be like
Remote.
we're super force sensitive with everything because you have the Night Witches there, or Night Sisters. I'm sorry, Balin going on looking for the mythology of whatever.
And something glowing in the distance.
So are we going to get like Anakin's literally there training them as the Force Ghost, like Luke and Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah.
Or you're right, is it going to be like that's the last time we see Anakin, and now Ahsoka and Sabine are doing their own thing? I don't know.
You have to assume though, like that one of these movies that were coming out might play into whatever season 2 gives us. But I mean, you have to assume like they will get off this planet. We're not starting like a new narrative
that'd be weird.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking. And I mean, even like when you see Ezra come back, Hera and Ezra have that moment, and then it's like, but now they're over there.
Yes, and we know that we now know that they're not lost forever, like we thought Thrawn and Ezra might be. We now know they're somewhere, so there will be a search.
And there will be able to find them.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a good ending to all of that.
Yeah, but now we didn't even get to see Thrawn is back, as we've been teasing that back to the Mandalorian.
One moment that I thought about in this that I thought was maybe my favorite part of the episode, and then another moment that he has to realize when he gets back. First off, when he asks for the reports and he like stops and he's like, Anakin, like Ahsoka was Anakin's Padawan.
I loved that.
Or Anakin's Padawan. And it was like, wait a second. He trained her? And he was like, call off the ships. Like, just bring him back. We'll get her a different way. And they're like, why? He's like, just trust me on this. Like, if he trained her, she's a lot scarier than you guys have like even brought this up to. And what I can't wait is when he gets back to the world and he finds out that the Empire was crushed by a Luke Skywalker. He's going to be like, this fucking guy, man.
I just didn't even think about
everything. Like, everything this dude touches.
He touches, damn. Well, I had a moment when the ship is not quite ready to leave, and they're getting ready, and Sabine and Ahsoka and Ezra are running to try and get on the ship as it's leaving, and he's like, rain down fire. I'm like, Thanos from Endgame's like, what about our troops? I don't care.
Like, do not care.
Do not let her on the ship.
He's like, if she gets on here, this is going to be a bad time.
Exactly. I just was like, oh, that's, yes, so accurate.
So what I'm wondering now, though, is we don't really hear mention of Thrawn when it comes to the First Order or anything like that. But it also seems that, like, if he's back now with a functioning Star Destroyer and a functioning army of troopers and a bunch of coffins, it looks like they're going to plan to raise from the dead, or
which
whatever.
we saw in this episode when the Night Sisters did their thing, and they're back, the dead stormtroopers or whatever they are.
But I mean, are we going to see that like Luke and Thrawn have history together? Like I'm confused as to how much he's going to play into this, because now that we know Thrawn is back in this world, where does that leave? Because Luke's out creating his Jedi, academy right now, and
which is interesting because you're right. In the newest trilogy, we never hear any word of Thrawn being back. But as we've had this Emperor from the originals and Palpatine, and then later on the New Order, it's just like a footnote in history.
Yeah.
So if Thrawn, no matter what he does, it's like, oh yeah, we had this other guy too. So no matter how good or bad it goes for Thrawn, it doesn't necessarily mean it would be this huge event to the universe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see everything that's happened in Star Wars lore. This is just another thing that whatever he does, it is.
But I mean, what a great ending to a season of a show, especially for some that have not been 100%. There was no filler episodes in this.
No,
it fired on every cylinder it was supposed to. Like
and it adds to Star Wars lore. Like, as much as I liked the Book of Boba Fett, it was goofy, it was fun, but this is like, what happens next in the Star Wars saga.
So I had a coworker at the time talking about Book of Boba Fett when everyone was kind of shitting on it, and he was like, "People are so upset that these kids have nice, clean bikes." And he was like, "God forbid anyone on Tatooine wants to take care of their things. Like, what? Like, fuck these kids.
Yeah.
How dare they have nice things they care about and want to take care of and look nice on this desert dust hole planet?"
That's a good point, because if you go back to A New Hope, the first Star Wars, what's Luke trying to do? I want to go to Tashi Station to get power converters. It's like, yeah, he's trying to take care of his
He's
crap.
trying to do his
so,
thing, man.
Yeah, I guess it's a continuation. So speaking of
Uh-huh.
silly concepts, we came across a footnote of I've never heard of this. That
I
Guillermo
had no
Del
idea this
Toro
existed until you sent this to me.
wanted to make a Star Wars movie, and not like, oh, I love Obi-Wan, let's focus on him,
Nope.
or I love the Skywalker, let's focus on
Nope.
him. No, who did he pick?
Jabba the Hutt. And he wanted it, what did he title it? The Rise and Fall of Jabba the Hutt.
Which had me thinking, I'm like,
would you have seen that movie?
Of course, because it's got Star Wars in it.
But
But
it's like Guillermo Del Toro telling the story of the rise and fall of Jabba the Hutt. Like, do we get to see like a younger, thinner Jabba, like in his
like
prime?
episode 1, where
Yeah.
he's like, it's in my schedule, I have to go to this pod race. So
Now the funniest thing to me is that it would have dialogue, and would we get dialogue, or would it be Boca,
oh my
Boca,
God,
Boca
do I have to
like
read this
2
movie?
2 hours
Oh.
for a man that's so used to monsters with subtitles?
But
he
how
was just
great
like,
would it
yeah,
be if it's realized that he can speak basic, he just chooses not to?
he's like, fuck these, right? I love having people not understand me.
Yes, exactly. I shall not let them know. But to be honest, he's a gangster. There's the Hutt family that is risen to power.
No, I mean there's a
So-
mob family.
I'm curious to see their history. I don't know if I
But
can
hey-
watch a full 2 hours, or heaven forbid, a trilogy of
I'm
Jabba the Hutt,
here
but-
for like a 2.5-hour crime movie
yeah,
of the Jabba the Hutt empire.
as he's strong arming the other syndicates or whatever. I mean, I guess at some point they took out the Crimson Dawn or whatever
Yeah.
they were. So, okay,
I mean, I would have
cool.
feel like I would have been here for it, and I mean, with him and the way he does monsters and stuff
Yeah.
like that, that probably could have been a very entertaining movie.
We could have
but-
seen how he hooked up with Bib Fortuna.
but we will never get that.